CEO, Cast of the City, the first King James, Romeo International. He will be with us. So let's hit it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The sun is shining, shining, nice and bright, bright. The birds are chirping, chirping,
and I'm ready to fly.
Time to get ready, ready
for another day.
No one can stop us. Oh, we gon' learn to play. Oh, every day we learn and play.
We do our best, so we'll be great.
Oh. You do your best, best,
and I do mine.
So let's get ready, cause it's about that time. Good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, how do you do? Good morning, time to be great. Good morning, time to wake. Good morning,
your dance and play.
Good morning,
start the day.
Good morning, open your eyes. Good morning,
reach for the sky.
Good morning, morning to you. Good morning, morning, how do you do? Good morning, morning to you. Good morning, morning, how do you do?
Good morning.
You see me on my grind.
Woo. Stars got to shine.
I'm a supernova.
Yeah, you see me taking over. Yeah,
I'm on the move. I got a way to shine to it. So let me hear you say, every day we gon' learn and play.
What's happening, yo?
It is good morning. Good morning. Man, everybody's looking crisp. We can really see Ashley and Portia still on the show, so I'm not sure why. But anyhow, having a good day, man. I'm having a good day.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
Listen, Monday. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope y'all are feeling good, feeling great.
Yeah, Munson got his dome scoped, and you know what I'm saying, got it polished off.
Yeah, I got a little bit off the sides and got off my face, so it wouldn't look so scruffy and roughy. But yeah, I missed the barbershop.
Oh, is that in response to your fan, Lunel? I mean, she's a fan of you. Man, you got a fan. I mean, you know, that's a positive thing.
Thanks, Terry. I'm wearing my shirt. Black Lives Matter. I get it. I really get it. What's going on, AI?
Man, we made it through another weekend. Made it through another week. Man, it's middle of July.
It's the end of July. It's in. It's
Bro,
last week.
End of July.
What kind of measurement you using?
Hey man, you know what it is? I realized since March, my days have just been dazed. I really lost the sense of time without looking at a calendar. It just
tally.
It just feels like March that never ended. The March just never ended. It's just like I don't know. It's just a weird year. But we making it though. We gonna make it.
What's up, Romeo International?
King James, good morning. Cast of the City, AR, Munson Steve, good morning. I'm gonna speed this up, read this up, man. Romeo International, man, good morning. It's Monday, rollingout.com. We here, we made it on Monday. See, I'm bright, she bright, we all bright, he bright. I'm just telling y'all now, where I'm at right now is Monday, and that's what I'm going with because I'm glowing. Cash, you see the glow? Cash, you see the glow?
All right.
All right, they on the glow. Right?
Great Monday.
Thank you, bro. Got to glow, man.
Where's my vest?
You know what I'm saying? Your vest is on the table, man. I'm gonna tell you something. I've been going since 3:30.
Did you get the size 11s with the vest? I need it. I hope everybody's out there dodging the gaining 50 pounds.
Oh yeah, no, that's real.
It's real.
That's real. If you sit around, that weight will find you. So there's definitely a time where you gotta continue your workout routine, whether it's running, solo distancing, running, exercising, doing sit-ups in the house and push-ups. There's a way you still gotta stay active.
Yeah.
You're not gonna gain 15. You're gonna gain 50.
Hey, that's the new pandemic. That's the new pandemic. Weight is coming for you now. The weight is
Oh,
No, that's real. That's real. And there was a period of time for about, I don't know, a month or so where I was kind of like trepid. I mean, I was a little bit nervous about going out, jogging by myself. I didn't want to get misidentified. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know what I'm saying? Because it was a period of time where somebody was getting shot or beat up every single day or every week. Made me a little nervous about going out jogging or biking or exercising out there in the park, and then somebody say, "Oh, he did something." The cops accidentally break my neck. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we got Christopher Bruce to talk about that in about 10 minutes. He's gonna let us know because that definitely happened to Ahmed Aubrey, and obviously he can bring us up to date. We appreciate him coming on the show in 10 minutes to let everybody know it's not a joke. Running out obviously is part of what we had. Like you said, Terry, it is a real fear for a Black person that you can be jogging and then not make it home. Trayvon Martin was just walking through a neighborhood and did not make it home. Breonna Taylor, RIP, rest in power, did not wake up. Was in her bed. And we still have
no justice is happening for her. So we
ain't
definitely want to make sure we keep her in our minds
and
keep demanding justice.
I didn't even want to go there this morning, Cassidy, but I will go there. Well, first of all, shout out to Janelle Cray Amos. AR, she said she's only doing 5. She only gained 5 pounds so far, but it's hard.
Telling you.
But go to Cassidy's point. I know we got a great guest coming, and I don't want to go there, but because I was somewhere else on Monday. But let's go there. Them people ain't finna make no move. Like the world is speaking out. NBA is speaking out. NFL is speaking out. The pastors are speaking
Celebrities.
out. Celebrities speaking out. Like how many people got to speak out? How many?
a whole lot because they cussing congresswomen out and dropping F-bombs at all day long. So, you know, you can't erase a system that they benefit from without, it's a long haul. You got to continue to be.
No, they're just frustrated. In January and February, there was a clear path to re-election for the incumbent administration. And that got interrupted by a pandemic and an epidemic of police brutality. And so now they're scrambling and they're frustrated and they're lashing out, you know, as they are in Portland. You know, shout out to all the veterans who stood there on the front line to try to protect the peaceful demonstrators from the cops who came from Washington to, I don't know what you call it, control them, decimate, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to them and shout out to that one veteran who got mace or right in his face, like 2 inches from his face, just for standing there in front of the protesters. So shout out to the people in Portland.
Yeah, man. Apparently you can't stand, I guess. But you know, it's Monday morning.
Well, maybe we'll be able to ask Christopher, do we have rights to protest? Because it is obvious that we clearly they might want to take the rights back. So clearly, maybe they think they have the rights to do that. So.
They want to take the rights back. They want to.
It appears that that's the case.
Yeah. Y'all know this freedom of speech thing. You know, we might have to rethink this right
We
here.
were just joking about that one.
Right. Let's just skip that one and then go back to. Matter of fact, hey, Mayor, you gotta put me up on game. There's an amendment 12 or 13 that still kind of sort of invokes slavery. Is that true?
Well, 13th Amendment. That's basically that's basically what happened. Following slavery, it said that you know, no one can be what they call property of a state unless they commit a crime. So if you commit a crime, then you can become state property. So it's like a twisted language, and you should definitely want everybody to check out Amy DuVernay's 13th, where she talks about how basically mass incarceration is another form of slavery. And we can definitely talk to the lawyer about that as well, as far as, you know, what mass incarceration looks like today. And yeah, you're right. It's people, it's brothers and sisters who are incarcerated right now for small crimes, and they may not ever get out of jail. So
that's due to your first Black president that everybody was talking about back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton.
The crime bill,
And I
1994
kept telling
crime bill.
people, I kept telling people, he is not your friend. And then 20 years later, they find out that in actuality, that he is the one mainly responsible for the rise of the prison industrial complex. So I need people to stop going off their emotions. And I need people to start cracking open books. People need to read and be up on game, because the games are being played against you. And these are deadly games. These are like the Hunger Games. These games are life and death. Politics is a game of life and death, and it takes no prisoners.
So let me ask you guys this, because we're in a conundrum right now, and we have two presidents who a lot of people are not really agreeing with. Of course, Biden. I personally consider Biden the better choice because Trump doesn't really know what he's doing. But Biden did author some of the crime bill, the 1994 crime bill that led to mass incarceration. So how do we feel about that as far as his participation in the 1994 crime bill?
Well, it's the lesser of two evils, like you just have to choose what's best for right now, which is difficult, but we're in a really crazy time right now. It's almost unbelievable. I can't even imagine like our children in the future learning about 2020 and how much it's gonna be overwhelming.
Man, we need to start viewing the situation as there are no friends in politics. Okay, the people who are working for you today worked against you yesterday. They could be working against you tomorrow. It's like a bunch of crime families. You know what I'm saying? The Godfather or Goodfellas. Your friend today might be your killer tomorrow. Right. It happens all the time. So y'all need to stop getting in y'all's feelings when it comes to politics and understand that this is facts. You deal with factuality and intellect rather than your emotions, and stop having these visceral reactions when somebody condescends to apologize to y'all about slavery and then y'all get all happy. Stop that, please.
I apologize to be laughing so much, man, because I'm just finding so much joy today. But it's kind of like that movie cast AR when they be like, so you want to get shot in the arm or the leg? Well, you know what? Let me just choose my arm today. Let me just take the arm. So
you're right. I actually had a conversation with someone this weekend about that. As far as they were like, they just didn't want to vote for Biden. They said they weren't going to vote for Trump. They weren't going to vote for Biden. So I had to kind of break it down to them as far as what it's like. I was like, you had to think about this. If you got shot and you had to go to the hospital and you had a blind person and a 12-year-old, and they're the only two people that can take you to the hospital. Both of them are bad choices, but only one can get you to the hospital. He might not get you there, but only one can get you to the hospital. So you got to start looking at this election like that, where it's like they're two bad choices, but there's only one person that's going to get you there.
I like that.
And that's Biden. There is no other choice. When it comes to any occupation, I had to go to school to be a journalist. Everyone on here had to go to school to be in journalism or to be in media. If you're going to be a doctor, you got to go to school for a certain amount of years. If you want to be a lawyer, you have to go to school for a certain amount of years. Trump has not one day of any being in any political office, and he got the most important job in the world. So, we have to figure out what can we do as a people to make sure that this doesn't happen again, because we don't want anybody who doesn't have any experience to have that position.
Well, wait. What about your man Kanye?
Oh, there we go. Hey, Chris, our guest is on this morning. You're watching AM, the Wake Up Call. What's going on, Chris? My teammates, Cass in the City, First King James, Romeo in the National. Thank you very much for coming on. We know you are with the ACLU. You are an attorney. You are on the front line. We want to thank you guys for all that you do for our community. But, bring us up to speed, bro, because legally this country seems to be challenging everything about our rights. It just appears that our rights are not something that have any. In Portland, it looks like they're going crazy, and at the same time, I really want our community not to forget about Ahmaud Albright. So what's going on with Ahmaud?
So, thanks for having me on. And the titles mean something. I appreciate it. But really, when it comes down to it, I'm a local Black man. So we really get into this and making sure that the memory of Ahmaud Arbery stays relevant. So on July 17th, the last person, remember there were 3 people who were charged with murder of Ahmaud Arbery. You had the 2 McMichaels, the father and the son, who shot him. And then you had the guy who took the video. That was Roddy Bryan. He was charged with murder as well. And he went up for bond. And he put up a excuse of saying he shouldn't have been convicted of bond. He should be released before trial. And the reason why he said that was because he wasn't involved with the crime. We know he was involved with the crime or tracking down Mr. Arbery. And he also used the Trump argument of it's COVID-19 in prisons, so he shouldn't go there. So Roddy has lost his, I know it's crazy. He's lost his job, he's lost his car, he's lost his home since this happened. I'm not saying to be sympathetic towards it, but the judge ruled that he was a flight risk and that he should stay in jail. And I completely agree with that judge. Him and the 2 others should be in jail until they're brought to justice.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's still ongoing. What I like to point out too is that something else that's going on now in your state legislature in Georgia. They are having hearings on citizens arrest. And if you remember what citizens arrest was, it is the defense that the McMichaels were using to say they were trying to capture Ahmaud Arbery. Now, we all know Ahmaud Arbery did not commit a crime and there was no reason or justification for citizens arrest. But the history of citizens arrest goes all the way back to the Civil War. In 1863, citizens arrest was placed in the Georgia legislature because at that time you were going through a civil war and you no longer had local law enforcement or anything else. So they were trying to empower white people to take control of their slaves. Back then you were called law enforcement or slave patrols if your slave ran away. We all know during the Civil War, a lot of slaves actually tried to make it to the North. Well, now they were empowering citizens to actually use that. And we've seen how citizens arrest has been used later on in the years of saying that we were using this to justify African-American males, especially saying you committed a crime, I'm bringing you to justice. And then once you're in the Department of Corrections or whatever prison, we would use you again as slave labor. So you talked earlier about the 13th Amendment. That's true. Slavery has not been abolished. You cannot be deprived of life, liberty, or property unless you have due process, right? And that's the cue right there. You can still be deprived of your life. That's why we still have the death penalty. Property, the state can still take away your house, anything else, or life, liberty, or just because of due process. So these type of things still exist in our system. Why? Because we grew up in a white supremacist system. And until we dismantle all of these pieces of white supremacy, including citizens arrest, so make sure you talk to Chairman F. Frustration. The next hearing is going to be on August 3rd. That's only when we can truly have justice for Ahmaud, George Floyd. And I mean, my God, Breonna Taylor's killers are still out there right now, right? The complete disrespect to Black women everywhere. And we just have to keep that story going.
Chris.
Wow.
Well, Chris, I want to ask a quick question about the process in the Breonna Taylor's case. Where are we at right now with this case? Because we know the Attorney General has it. What's taking so long for this to actually even several of the cops are still on duty. Some they still have a job. What's taking so long for an arrest of these cops who committed the crime against Breonna Taylor?
But it's really more 2 things that are going on. I'll tell you the most obvious one, where you have elected officials who do not see this as a priority, or they see it as a justification of what happened. We all know that that's completely wrong. And again, she was murdered in her own home altogether. The second biggest thing that I want to bring up is that Breonna Taylor and the situation that happened with the police department there, the police have very great benefits when it comes to unions. We talk about hate crimes and protecting people. The police are the most protected class in the United States. That's why 99% of them, when they make a killing, they do not get charged and they do not get convicted of a crime. So there are police unions out there who make certain types of agreements with cities and everything else. Some of it happens in Atlanta too, where it says if you are even considering questioning if you're considering questioning a police officer due to a shooting, he has to have counsel there. If you're considering questioning him, only 2 other police officers can question him at the time. If you're considering bringing charges or a grand jury hearing, he can have an attorney in there with him. Those are rights that you don't have. So police officers are just having this unmitigated, they have absolutely no type of accountability, and it's happening all throughout the country. The other thing I want to bring up, the sidestep into it, I was hearing y'all earlier. Portland actually has a very interesting statute where it says that your body is considered a form of protest. So that's why you see all these pictures of naked people out there and showing themselves. There was one about a woman who just opened herself up. And really, Portland has an interesting history since the civil rights movement of saying we are going to protest with our bodies. So you can actually get butt naked going down the street, stripping at any time, and you will not get arrested for it.
That's interesting.
I know, just side note, y'all were talking about it, so I said, hey, let me add that in there. But Breonna Taylor's situation, again, going back to that, until we, again, deal with elections and put in the right people who hold police accountable, until that happens, I don't think we're going to get justice. But we cannot let the story die.
So do you think it's, before we move on to Terry and King, First King James, do you think it's going to take the removal of the Attorney General before any type of charges are filed? Do you think we have to wait that long?
I think with all states, you have other types of situations where you can have a recall vote of elected officials, especially state elected officials. You can also continue to have the pressure that's up into there. But again, you're accountable towards the people. Now, you shouldn't have to wait every 4 years for that. So the people, not just that are in Kentucky, should be putting on pressure, but the people all across the United States should be putting on pressure. The United Nations issued a report last week saying that the police are out of control. The United Nations, we're talking about the United States Police, said that the police are out of control in the United States, and they need to really reevaluate their use of force tactics and the way that they silence protesters out here. So we are, again, looked at, due to the leadership that's happening up in the federal level and on local levels, as just horrible countries that we consider ourselves the land of the free, but are we really? And we see those type of situations, the Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd.
Yes, Christopher, I'm interested in finding out what possible justification that the defense in the Ahmaud Arbery case have for trying to remove the Black district attorney. She's just a district attorney who happens to be Black, and they want her removed. What possible justification could they have for asking for that, and what are the possibilities of that?
So when you mentioned before that, I'm an attorney, I've done defense work before, and as a defense attorney, you come up with any and every argument that you can. So they've been through the district attorney in Cobb County, the Black one. She is the 4th attorney on this case, the 4th one that's been appointed that's on this case. So there really isn't a justification of it besides venue. She does not live in that area at all, or that jurisdiction. So I can make the argument that she is not elected by the people of that area, and that area has certain types of accountability factors or certain type of environment that they want to go through. It's baloney when it comes down to it. Joyette Holmes is the district attorney there, and their lead prosecutor who comes out of Cobb County. What they do not want is what happened, because we know for 74 days, these individuals were not arrested. And the reason why is because everybody in that community knew each other. So their standards of what's called justification or justice were completely wrong. Bringing in another attorney from outside of that area, or that cesspool, what your president would say is a swamp, was the right thing to do. So she should not be removed, and I wholeheartedly do not believe that she will be removed.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to get to the percentage or the chances of her being removed, but thank you for answering that question.
Thank you.
So when we talk about chances, in Georgia, there's never been a white person who's been sentenced to death for killing a Black person, ever. is this a case where we can see that change? Do you see that the killers of Ahmaud Arbery is there a chance that they could be given the death penalty for their crime?
There's wholeheartedly a chance for that happening. The state has issued its orders or notice of pursuing the death penalty. I believe that happened a while ago. And the Department of Justice has put in notice that they are going to pursue this case as well in a hate crimes type of way. The hate crimes on the federal level, not the state hate crimes type of level. So I think there has to be an answer towards what happened with the killing. Now, this is where it gets controversial. I personally do not believe in the death penalty. I believe in life imprisonment and everything else, but we'll see what public opinion has. And that's why, and I'm glad that y'all have me on, and I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing. You have to keep the story going. Otherwise, they're going to say, we're just going to push back this trial, because we know with white people, when it comes to killing or justification for black people, they will try to sweep this under the rug, or they'll try to let them go with a slap on the wrist or anything else. But while this story is still hot, while they know they have to be elected by you, they will continuously pursue justice. And that's how it's going to happen.
Okay, speaking of which, keeping things going, some of the steam has been let out in Minneapolis in that case. And the other defendants, the 3 defendants who were watched as the life seeped out of George Floyd from the knee of Derek Chauvin, former officer Derek Chauvin. They are trying to say that they really didn't have anything to do with it. What are the chances of them coming up with some type of viable excuse as to why they should not be, charged? They're indicted, but not be prosecuted for what they did or didn't do as George Floyd was killed in front of us on Memorial Day.
In front of us.
On live TV.
On live TV, with people there actively telling them, do not murder this guy. He is dying. Literally, you are choking him to death. Again, this goes down to, I'm not going to say the savviness of lawyers within the situation, because that's what it goes into. But again, public opinion. And I'm going to put a little twist on it that most people don't know about. Follow the money. Follow the money. These people have private defense attorneys, and they are raising money off of this case. When it came to Rayshard Brooks, that happened here in Atlanta, you actually had more money raised for his defense than actually the money that was given to the family because he was killed. There's a lot of racism that still happens in our system, in our capitalistic white supremacy system. And you need to figure out where's the money coming from, and we need to shut down these places to not defend white supremacy. And until we actually follow the money and shut it down, that flow that keeps this culture that still disrespects women and does not think that black men actually deserve life, liberty, or justice, then we're going to continuously happen in here. So to answer your question in a distinct way, I am concerned that these individuals, again, based off of police unions and the type of contracts that they have and the type of protections that police have, they could have a possibility of getting off.
Wow. And I think that's the first time that a lot of people have heard that. And, so that's important to raise that, because I know that, that the media keeps it in the news just for a short period of time, and then it loses steam and people forget about it, because we haven't really heard George Floyd's name in quite some time now. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, same for Ahmaud Arbery, which is why I wanted to make sure that we didn't take him and his family off the list of our consciousness as it relates to the uprising. I wanted to thank you for coming on, because we always want to make sure. So don't stay away so long. We need you to definitely be a part of our vision, and clearly a subject matter expert as it relates to crime and what we need to see and know. So thanks so much, Chris, for coming on, and we appreciate all that you do and that the ACLU is doing to stay on the front line of this type of oppression. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you, brothers. Be safe. Stay healthy. Good to see you.
All right. All right. Take care.
Yeah, man.
That's deep. That's deep. That's the first time I heard. And I think that, I always thought that it was a possibility that the other 3 police officers, ex-Minneapolis police officers, would find some type of rationale as to why they should not be prosecuted, and that it'd be viable and highly likely that they could get off. But I wanted to hear, I'm glad I heard that substantiated by an actual practitioner of the law. I really don't think a lot of people know that.
No, I'm glad y'all asked that question. Producers, leave my camera alone. I'm glad y'all asked that question because I was really curious after he answered the question. I saw a lot of those photos trending, King James. Like I saw a lot of photos on Twitter of people like just naked in the streets, and it was just I was like, what's going on? But our next guest is here early in the morning.
Yes. So we have an exciting guest, Lomi Joe, I believe is how you pronounce it. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning. That's what I'm talking about.
You are French Cameroonian. You're an artist now, but you previously have been a tennis player and a model. So just introduce everyone on the morning show to who you are.
Okay, so my name is Lomejo. As you well said, like I have my African roots, so I'm half Cameroonian, and my father is half Swedish Belgium. I grew up in Paris, so in France, and right now I'm living in New York. But obviously, right now I came back in France because of Corona. You know, I just flee the city. So right now I'm in Paris, you know, because I'm like, damn, you know, I don't want to stay there. So like it's been like 4 months and I'm here. Yeah, as you said, like before I was a tennis player, I was like ranking 5 in France. I did homeschool for that, playing a lot of tournaments for like 10 years, and I stopped tennis, and I started like to do my studies and modeling too. And then it's been 1 year that finally I had like, you know, kind of illuminated thing in my mind to say to me like, yo, like just, you know, do it with the music, because I always doing music, you know, low key. I was already like doing like some writing at the age of 10. I was playing piano since my 8 years old and stuff like this. But it's just only for like 1 year ago that I was like, okay, so let's just do the music and do what you want, you know. So life changed.
Definitely. So I definitely want to get into you being, you know, African and French, and, you know, you've been speaking a lot about, you know, Black Lives Matter and different things on your social media platform before we get into the music. But why, you know, was that so important for you, and, you know, how you identify?
I mean, I identify like a Black woman, you know. For my mom, you know, she's Black, so, you know, I'm Black. And even though, you know, for people, me, there's done something I wish, you know, like the Black community, like, even like, you know, like between each other will be more, you know, united, because I don't really like the fact like we all like identify, oh, she's light, she's dark, she's this and that. Me, I just want all people just say you Black and, you know, that's it. Because if, you know, like already like a lot of people, you know, oppress us and stuff like this. But how can we be like strong if we already like, you know, divide, you know, ourselves, you know? And this is what I really want, and what I always like want for us, you know, to be more, you know, united as just like Black. And it doesn't matter if you like this blah blah blah, you're Black rock, you know, you're just Black and you just stand up like for the right, and, you know, like that's it. I really
Absolutely. So like you said, you're not pursuing music. What was kind of that transition for you, you know, into the music industry? Like you said, you've been doing it for a minute, but from modeling, you know, into music.
For me, it's not like pursuing that like a transition. I don't really like the word like transition, because I feel like even when I was playing tennis, for me, it's kind of, you know, the same thing, because with tennis, I learned like a lot of things that right now, even for my modeling or for my music, you know, it strengthen, you know, my mentality and stuff like this. And even though it looks very different, you know, tennis is like a sport, you know, but you still have to use your movement and stuff, you know, coordination. And like with modeling, it was like kind of thing like this. And for music, it's always like you have to express your feeling, but it's like in different way, you know. So for me, it's not like a continuity. And it was like a very, you know, like how can I say that? Important step for me, if, even as a woman and as an artist, like as always like be to do music because I was like, okay, I don't want, to regret things. I always wanted to do this. So even though, I'm like this, I want just, like to do the thing that I like. And either way, like if it's working good, I will be like the most happy. And if not, at least, I will try,
Right.
So
Definitely.
this is
Romeo, Amir.
Well, first of all, 2A Trey Bell ring.
God.
What? I speak French. What? Y'all didn't know that? Yeah, I speak French. Yeah.
You speak French from where? Where did you learn French?
Oh, what did I learn? Oh,
Google.
Georgia Tech. But that's why she smiled. Y'all don't even know nothing about that. So let me ask you this though. You spoke very candidly about, how you don't like being put into a box when it comes to, your color, light skin, black, whatever like that.
Yeah.
How did you find your balance though? How did you find your balance between your music, your modeling, and people not taking you and placing you in a category? Because it sounds like you hate to be placed in categories.
Just don't pay attention about like what people say. That's it, I don't give a shit. No, really, because if you put like intention about like, oh, what people think about like, yeah, if you this, that, or if you do this, that, then like you will just like have your head like so big, and then you're going to think that it's going to explode. So me, I know who I am, I know what I want to do. I know who I am. So for me, just like what it matters. And maybe, I will say my mom, for me is very important. But beside my mom, everybody can say whatever, me, I just know, what I want and who I am, And it's very important to know your roots, though, because I think to know where we're from and who we are, we have to know our roots.
Definitely. So I want to get into your latest song, Lil Bossy. We're gonna play a little bit of that, and I want you to kind of give us a breakdown of what Lil Bossy is and what does it mean to be Lil Bossy. So let's go.
Okay. Yeah.
Stop the stick talk, let that shit pop pop. Stop the stick talk, let that shit pop. Where my little bossy? Little bossy, where my little bossy? Little bossy, where my little bossy? Little bossy, where my little bossy? I'm know your motherfucking pet.
Hey, play that.
Hey, that's a vibe. So let's break down Lil Bossy. Like, what's the inspiration behind that song?
Like me, I love to do like a lot of songs. I love to sing, soul, because my first single was more like completely like different. It was like a soul R&B song. There was like even like some jazz touch and stuff like this. It was more chill. And so I like, to mix up like both, and for my next album that I plan to release, I will have, like both like rap, like soul, R&B, because I love to do it. And here's the thing with this song. I wrote my song, so I wrote it like in 45 minutes, and I have these beats in my mind. And I was like, yo, it will be dope, like, actually, oh my God, I love this song. And I was like, damn. With me as a woman, sometimes, you just dance in the club, right? But you don't really pay attention about like the lyrics. So me, I want just to have like a song where actually, I'm dancing, but I feel like at the same time, kind of like in part, because for me, it's very important. And as like, I wanted the song, like for women to be like recognized as like bossy, like very powerful thing. But even though with the guys too, because I feel like it's not only for the women, it's for everybody. But I really want like kind of, bossy vibe, stuff like this, and positive message, in this song. Yeah, it was my aim for sure.
Can we get like 8 bars?
Yeah, we get 8 bars.
Give us like 8 bars. Give us like 8 bars of Lil Bossy.
Hey, what do you mean?
Give us 8 bars.
If you could like sing a little bit.
Yeah.
Of Lil Bossy, yeah.
I'm on a motherfucking mood. Mad work, rocking on a firewall. This shit is so good. Just sitting on your man. Oh, she gives it down for you. Bad bitch, waiting. bad bitch, what it's I'm for you, bossy, saucy, wiggle, juicy, nothing all a little bossy. I pay my own bills, do my own thing, my position, I said fucking seal, it by heart, be ready, or bring your shit back, yeah, bust it up, bust it down.
Hey.
Right, stop the stick talk, make that shit pop. Stop the stick talk, make that shit pop. I'm a little bossy, I'm a little bossy, I'm a little bossy, I'm a little bossy.
I love it, man. On the spot. I love it, man.
But I wanna know, like, for you, because the first song, like you said, was really like soft and melodic, and this one is a little bit more like rap, and like you're kind of venturing into that. So what, when did you like decide like this is something that I could do, or like who inspired you to like get into this kind of different wave? Because they're two different, you have two different sounds.
I mean, I love for my music, like it represents like different layers of me, because even though I'm like this kind of powerful, strong woman side, I still inside of me, I'm very soft, So I want like my music, like, represent like all the layers of me, all like different vibe that I have. And my first single was more like talking about like kind of relationship, how sometimes, it's very easy, to let go and not put it in front about like what we want and stuff like this. And I really like, when I wrote song that actually, it's what I think. But even though there is always like in song, some fantasy, all like we word and stuff, like it's not like sometimes all the truth, but there is still some fantasy, but I want still some truth, behind it. And me, I'm not just this woman. I think I have like different personalities, and I want it like to be like really into my song, So I try my best to do it.
I also wanted to ask you about, because you have your French, heritage, do you plan on, writing any songs and singing in French?
Yeah.
Because right now you're speaking in English.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Like for example, like my first single, I will like release it in French too, and like another version in French for the album. And I'm planning like to write 2 other songs in French, but like the rest will be English, because I love both culture. I love like I have more, I think, flow and like vibe when I'm singing in English too. But for me, as you say, like it's important still to use my French side, because I think that it can even add something, So for sure, yeah, I will like try to do both.
That's that balance. I like that. That's that balance. So everybody, they can follow you. Where? Because people just ask, how can they listen to the full track? Where's the full track?
Full track of what?
Bossy.
Lil Bossy.
Oh, everywhere, man. Everywhere. On Spotify, Apple Music, Google Music, Amazon Music, like everywhere. Just put the major and Lil Bossy, and then you got it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And where can they follow you?
On my Instagram, I only have like Instagram and Facebook, but I'm more active on my Instagram. My Instagram is like Lomijo. I don't have many social media, just those one.
I'm about to follow you.
Well, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much, guys.
And sharing. Take care.
Yeah, sharing positive vibes.
Yes,
always.
Positive vibes.
Positive
We love it.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
Au revoir. See, I learned that too.
Oh my God.
Au revoir.
Get mine.
Please say mon ami or something like that. You say au revoir, mon ami.
What is going on?
Mon ami. Au revoir, mes amis. Bonne journée.
Bonne journée.
A bientôt.
Bye-bye. Take care, okay?
Thank you, love.
Bye.
East side, west side rivalry, all that good stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Hey man.
Okay, so this
that first semester of French, man, you You only learn like 3 sentences, but it was dope. I know the basics. Hello, you beautiful, and goodbye. That's about it right there.
You beautiful was essential.
Yeah, that was
you want to learn the other ones, how are you doing? You probably want to learn how you doing.
Comment ça va?
Comment ça va?
Bien.
Très bien. Comment
I'm trying to cut straight
over there on Google, like, how do you say?
You want to say, my name is Romeo. What is your name?
Hey, Cash, it's so crazy because you my sister and I love you. I actually have the translator app on my phone.
I know you do.
So everywhere I go, man, I'm ready. No matter what it is.
Good luck with that.
Rolling out AM. It's Monday.
AM. Wake up call.
Ooh, Shirley Carter, Nicholas Ibenue Jr. We got Iris Royal. We got Melissa Lee West, who says to King James, wow, the attorney turnover is crazy. So who is best positioned to be the attorney on a case? And Janelle Cray Ames and Regina Hart. That's a good question from Melissa Lee West. King James, AR. In this situation, I guess the situation we were talking about, which attorney is on the better end of the case is what Melissa is asking from Facebook.
Which attorney is on the better end?
Which attorney? Yeah. So who's the best position to be in? Who's best positioned to be the attorney on the case? Ben Crump. I guess because he has so much experience in dealing with national forms of injustice. I guess he's best positioned to aid in the prosecution of those who have wronged one of our brothers and sisters across the country. If that's what she means, I don't know if I answered the question.
Yeah,
gotcha.
But Benjamin Crump has a vast amount of experience, and there's other people out there whose name escapes me right now. But Benjamin Crump definitely has been doing this for a better part of a decade, going back to 2011, 2012 with George Zimmerman, who most people believe murdered Trayvon Martin in Sanford, Florida, outside of Orlando. Calling himself a neighborhood watch and doing what that attorney just talked about in terms of citizens arrest. He was told not to go after Trayvon Martin. He went after it anyway and ambushed him and shot him in cold blood right up front. So Benjamin Crump has been dealing with this for the better part of a decade. So I think he's best positioned. Whatever case that he gets a part of, you feel like your chances have greatly improved in terms of getting justice for your client.
Benjamin Crump is not a prosecutor. So we want to make sure that everybody knows that he clearly is on the right side of justice, definitely defends the families as regards to these wrongful deaths in this case. He's definitely a superior attorney. I think the question may have been around the judge or who ultimately is going to be the judge in this case.
The district attorney. I think
right, the district attorney. So I think that was more of what she was speaking to. You're right. Trump's one of the best in the business as it relates to that.
Yeah.
In this particular case, he will not be able to really. He can support the prosecution as it relates to the district attorneys, but we need district attorney in Kentucky to actually move on Breonna Taylor. That's what
you can't.
No, well, the problem is that case is above that district attorney's head and has gone on to the state attorney general, who supersedes the power and influence right now of any district attorney. So, and district attorneys and attorney generals are appointed. So therefore, it's not that you have any say in the matter of who's going to prosecute a particular case. So that thing was only changed in Brunswick, Georgia, because of the fact that there was a conflict of interest with the Ahmaud Arbery case being prosecuted by the people who were friends with the police officer. And that's why that black district attorney was appointed there. But usually you don't have a say-so in who is the prosecutor. So I hope that better explains and answers that particular person's question, or at least partially.
Ask us some more questions so we can make sure we're clear. But let's go to Cass in the City.
Get to it. It's Monday. We have some exciting news, getting y'all up to date on everything that happened over the weekend. Some very exciting news for Sierra and Russell Wilson. They welcomed a baby boy on Friday. His name is Wynn Russell. So shout out to them. Congratulations to them on welcoming a happy and healthy baby boy. This is their third child. They're adding, to the Russell family. So this is awesome. Very happy for them. Up next, we have, this was a big moment that happened over the weekend. Dr. Dre and Colin Kaepernick met up. There's not really much being said on, why, but they posted this photo, Dr. Dre did, of, them together taking a knee, obviously kind of standing with Colin Kaepernick in this moment. And he used this caption. It was one single word, just saying defiant. And we know Dr. Dre did Defiant Ones, which was a show, I believe, or it was a documentary kind of about his, history with Jimmy Iovine. So, this is a cool moment. I'm not really sure what's going to come out of it, but, it's good to see people, supporting Colin Kaepernick.
Right.
Up next, we have, obviously, always, keeping y'all up to date on everything going on with Kanye. So over just yesterday, he's always on Twitter. But not only did he apologize to his wife, Kim Kardashian, via Twitter, saying that she's always supporting him and all this, and he's sorry for, all these crazy statements he's been making. But he also, called out Jay-Z. We all know that Kanye and Jay-Z were really, really close friends, but they aren't anymore. But he said Jay-Z should be, opening he and Rihanna's albums, just put some respect on who they are as artists, because Lil Wayne did this for Drake and Nicki Minaj. So this was really interesting to me. I don't know the last time I remember Lil Wayne opening Drake's album, but
at one point he's nipping at his heels, and at another point he wants him to help him. I think Kanye.
I think he just misses like that. I think he misses who Jay-Z is, and like how Jay-Z is so aligned, and like, he has everything down pat. So I think Kanye misses that strong friend who like has got it together.
Well, not only that, I think there's a little bit of jealousy involved, because Jay-Z and Beyonce are considered aristocrats. Like, they're on the level of nobility in America, and they have respect that transcends any demographic, politics. You know what I'm saying? They cover all the spheres, and Kanye and Kim just do not. And they both want to get to the level of Beyonce and Jay-Z, respectively.
The big difference is the level of privacy. Like, Jay-Z and Beyonce do not play that when it comes to privacy. Like, I mean, it's been a couple of instances where their stuff got aired out, but they don't do stuff like talk about their personal lives, in public, for real. So, we just want to keep Kanye in our prayers. We know he's still out in Wyoming, but keep him in your prayers. Hopefully.
Speaking of which, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but did Russell Wilson get a chance to go into the delivery room? Because I know he has spoken about that before. Okay.
Yeah, he was there, and they showed a little video, I believe, and Sierra, had the baby on her chest, and she was singing, so he was definitely in the room. So that was a blessing for them, because before he wasn't able to attend her appointments.
Let me drop these two things. First of all, Russell, hey man, I gotta get that man a round of applause. I don't know who his parents are, but man, this dude is great. Like, this dude is like out of a freaking cartoon, man. Like, he don't get into no arguments with nobody. He ain't he the dad of the year. This dude is awesome. Number two, if somebody don't take Kanye grown ass, man, I'm not. First of all, look, between him and Dump on Twitter, hey man, first of all, get his phone. Amir, Cassidy, King James, if I go, wow, I give y'all permission, get my phone. Like, come on, man. I'm tired of the excuses. I'm over it.
He has a thirst for attention, so does the Kardashians. So I was actually talking to a friend about that yesterday, as far as being in a situation where people just thirst for attention. I think the Kardashians' brand is to get attention, and they will do whatever it takes to keep that attention on them. So that's an unhealthy environment.
Yeah. Not only are they thirsty, not only are they thirsty for attention, they are so thirsty for respect. They just want to get to that next level. And they, at first, and that's the reason why they're no longer friends with Jay-Z and Beyonce, because they were trying to use them to climb the social strata, in America, to get to that top tier of respectability in America. And Beyonce and Jay-Z just weren't having it.
Allegedly.
No, ain't no allegedly. No, ain't no allegedly. They were.
Hey, Cass, Amir, you know what's so crazy though? Oh, since Key James brought up the Kardashians, you notice how somebody's name ain't never popped up in that situation between Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. Somebody's name just disappeared out the whole conversation. You never heard their name.
All the way alone. Megan Thee Stallion is sick of y'all. Leave her alone. Let her be at peace.
Yeah, that investigation is gonna be real.
Still a lot going on with that. But we love Megan Thee Stallion. We're hoping that she's okay and she's doing well. The internet has lost its mind.
Detectives. That's what we came. Full detective case.
Telling you, we got some good fans out here who not playing about you. But we're gonna get into these birthdays really quickly. So shout out to Corey Wise, the Exonerated 5, who is turning 48 years old today, as well as rapper Stormzy, who is turning 27. So shout out to them and everyone else who's celebrating today. We wish you a happy birthday.
Yeah, happy born day to all y'all out there.
We get started.
We got balloons, yeah. The cake is on the way. We got the music playing, cause it's your holiday. Woo! We invited family, and everybody came. I strike a pose for me like you in a picture frame. You got your finest clothes on, and $1 million smile. So we gon' celebrate you for a while. And don't forget we got the candles when you away. Don't forget we got the candles. Happy birthday, gonna celebrate you for a while. Candles, blowing you away. Wait. Candles. Happy birthday, happy yeah. So
good morning, y'all.
Shout out, happy birthday, everybody. Hope y'all have a great day. Terry, you're up next.
Yes, I am, and welcome again to the Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call show. Please share our show and tell your friends about it. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a lot going on, and we have some superstar guests on the menu. But for right now, we had to, pay homage to our legend, our icon, our revered hero, John Lewis, who took one last trip across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, about an hour east of the state capital of Montgomery. And I saw it yesterday live on television, and it was a moving tribute. It was just a powerful in its simplicity, in the fact that they took this horse-drawn buggy with his casket draped over with the American flag, because he did love America. He just wanted to improve it. And then they stopped at the top of the Edmund Pettus Bridge to look as a symbol of what he did 55 years ago, when they looked down and saw the brigade of police troops who were about to kill him. They should have killed him that day, because they tried to. They cracked his skull open. He was concussed for 2 weeks, and he could have died that day. And so my hat's is off, and I bow to Congressman John Lewis. So shout out to everyone who took part in that magnificent but simplistic program of John Lewis taking one last stroll across the Edmund Pettus Bridge that defines his legend. Next on the docket, we have the situation. Okay, as we know, and as I saw as I went out this past weekend, it's like a 90% percentile people who are using masks now, as compared to maybe about 50% or less last month. And that's because of this. 29 states have seen an increase in the coronavirus death, not just cases. We're talking about deaths now. And as you can see with this map of the United States, the green or the turquoise represents those that are going down. Everyone else is either the light tan, which are just a few, are basically those that that have stayed the same. So, and the rest of them are going up. That's a lot of states that are either going up significantly or proportionately in terms of coronavirus deaths. So it looks like after all these months, after all that talk from the medical connoisseurs in America, we are finally starting to take the coronavirus seriously, and that you can die from this. Also, and unfortunately, there's been a 34% increase in the number of children, single-digit children who have contracted the virus and are dying from the virus. So this thing is trending upward, and we are considered one of the worst countries, one of the worst countries in the world in terms of our response to and dealing with the coronavirus. Like, for example, we still do not have mass testing in the United States. And I think that's just deplorable because we've been dealing with this thing since February. And matter of fact, probably beyond that, because if you listen to people like rapper Meek Mill, he said he had coronavirus-like symptoms back in November. So who knows when this thing really crashed ashore? You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people said that back in November and December and even January. A lot of people were saying like they got sick and they didn't really know.
Right. They said they said they were sick like never before. They thought they were going to die. Not just him, but DJ Jazzy Jeff also was close to dying. He thought he was going to die. So, before, back in February, back in January, back in December, people were, felt like they were getting this disease. So after all these, the first half of the month is over and we still don't have mass testing. I think that is just abominable.
Yeah, man. You got to play basketball. You got to play basketball to get mass testing. That's what I heard. You got to play basketball.
Yeah, and that is something that
pay obviously to get quick test results, according to our previous guests, because those free testing is going to take you about a week, maybe 2 weeks to get your results.
And that goes back to the haves and the haves not. It's just reprehensible and highly objectionable that the NBA has mass testing and the rest of the United States does not. That just means that goes back to that situation where they say, if you got money, you can get it. Just like in justice, if you have money, you can get justice. If you don't have money, you won't get justice. And the same thing. Go ahead, Romeo.
No, I'm saying you speaking right now. Speak that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I just think that's deplorable. The fact that you have mass testing for a sport that nobody is really watching right now, paying attention to right now, based upon the ratings. Nobody's really paying attention to baseball's out, soccer is out. WNBA is out. Football's about to come back in. The NBA is in. And there's really not a whole lot of talking going on about any of these sports. And they have mass testing, but the people who hold this country together and build this country can't get tested. Man, come on, man.
Facts.
Anyway, on to the next segment or the next thing on the docket. I think it's apropos that this man is named Tom Cotton. I mean, how appropriate is that? That's just like former Congressman Weiner getting caught doing what was that, sexting with a teenager. I mean, how more appropriate can your name get than be called Tom Cotton? And he says that he's quoting the founding fathers, but he's not really quoting them. He's trying to justify his position that the institution of slavery was a necessary evil in terms of the establishment and the creation of the accumulation of wealth in the United States. And the founding fathers, of course, most of them, as people know by now or should know by now, had slaves, and that they considered Black people, and we were counted 3/5 of a human being. So I don't know exactly where Mr. Senator Tom Cotton is trying to go with this particular point in order to outlaw any teaching about slavery in the United States, and that it was based upon racist principles, which it was, and that it was an evil institution. How else can what other way can you say that slavery was? So it's just a justification of something of an evil institution. And so just keep his name. It's not hard. I mean, it's not hard to remember his name, Tom Cotton. So but anyway,
I think what's happening. Go ahead, T.
No. I was going to my next segment. Please.
Oh yeah, before we go on, I just want to put this out there. I think there's what's happening. We're going to see a barrage of white supremacy ideologies between now and the next 5 to 10 years, because they say like in 10 years, white Americans will be the minority in America. So they're going to push this white supremacy thing forward. We're going to see a lot of whether it comes whether it's laws or whether it's ideologies. We're going to see a lot of white supremacy ideologies because they're about to be the minority in this country, and they want to make sure they're going to ensure that they still have some type of rule, whether it's limiting education or whether it's through the laws, that white supremacy still exists. So we want to put that out there.
Yeah, and that's why they're promulgating all of these ridiculous theories today. And this is the reason why mostly that someone who the current president is, a former game show host, could be elected president of the United States, the highest office in the entire planet, because of the backlash that happened, especially when Barack Obama got reelected, which they did not expect. Everyone thought that he was going to be usurped, but he didn't. And so this is, I think, is a Eurocentric backlash. And yes, Amir, there is a fear that, Caucasians are going to be in the minority within the next 30, 40, 50 years. On to my last segment. And we were talking about Breonna Taylor earlier with the attorney and the WNBA play. They, conservatives don't have to worry about the WNBA kneeling before, during the playing of the national anthem. They just walked off. Matter of fact, when they played it, there was nobody on the court. It was empty. And as you can see here, the players are walking off the court as they've started the playing of the Star Spangled Banner. And then afterwards, they had a 26-second moment of silence in commemoration of the 26 years that Breonna Taylor, a first-line EMT worker and taxpayer and law-abiding citizen, she was on 26 years old when she was struck down in her own home on a no-knock warrant and hit with 8 bullets and probably, well, they say she lasted for a little while, but I don't see how, being shot 8 times. But anyway, I just think that it was a good gesture by the WNBA to go ahead and, basically commemorate the life and the memory of Breonna Taylor.
I got a question, King James. I got a question, AI. I got a question, Cass. Hypothetically, let's say the NBA, instead of showing their solidarity in Black Lives Matter, if the NBA, WNBA and male, women and men, if they say we're not gonna play until justice is brought, does the situation change? Does the situation change if the corporation of the NBA says, you know what, we're not gonna do nothing until y'all bring this lady justice?
Well, no, it's not going to work because of the contract, the way the contract is. So the reason why they had to come back to this bubble was because of the agreement that they had with the NBA Players Association. And if they wouldn't have played, they would have basically forfeited millions of dollars. Like the players would have lost so much money because they would have.
And they're not going to do that.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. So they would have had to redo that. They would have to redo the entire structure. So yeah, it wasn't. So the thing is this: I think protests from sports, you may not be able to move anything in that arena. But if Black people protested when it came to our dollar, where it was business, where it was how we spent our money, I think you could affect change that way. But I don't think. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm going along exactly what you're saying in terms of ratings. If you refuse to watch the programs that are being shown, that would also help. But I also think that a lot of good is being done. A lot of pressure is being put on Louisville, Kentucky, and the State House and the Attorney General, who's investigating the case, by the constant reminder and the pressure from the likes of LeBron James and Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rihanna, and so many A-list stars from saying just a cavalcade of celebrities have come out, and that's putting a lot of pressure on them. But I don't think not playing the game is going to bring justice any further because I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm just curious what can push the needle, Cass. I'm just curious, like what can actually shove the needle, because right now the needle is skipping. The needle is skipping, and it ain't really in no traction from my eyesight.
So what our brother earlier, Chris, the attorney, what he was saying earlier is that that the people in Kentucky can actually call for a recall of the attorney general, because he's an elected official, and that's the only way they can remove him is through a recall vote. They can actually push for a recall. That's the only way he's going to get removed. Or they would have to wait until if he doesn't make any movement on this case, they would have to wait until I guess he's out of office to try to. The one good thing about murder is that there's no statute of limitation on murder. So whether they're charged this year or 4 years or 8 years from now, there's no statute of limitation when it comes to murder. So
they don't have. Yeah, they really don't have any immediate way in which to find redress to the situation. They just have to keep putting pressure as they have been doing. And the people in Portland, such as Portland and Seattle, who have commendably have been protesting nonstop since Memorial Day. Portland has been doing it, and they don't care. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Every day.
Every day. And this is where I do, I have problems with the mainstream media because the attention paid to the protests have dwindled like tremendously in the last month or so as the steam has gone out of the insurrection in the wake of George Floyd's death. So
I want to before we go, I want to ask you guys this question as far as because when it comes to Portland, you have a majority white individuals in the streets, and I've been seeing this thing where people are saying that the Black Lives Matter movement has been co-opted, and there a lot of destruction is happening. So, do you guys feel that the Black Lives Matter movement is being co-opted by some people in Portland, whereas the messages may be getting lost?
I've been hearing because just seeing the crowds, I'm just like, this is very interesting. How many white people are out protesting on a consistent basis? Is it just like, we don't have anything else to do, so we're gonna go out and protest? Like this is a new, hobby of ours or whatnot. So I don't know. I'm up in the air.
Yeah, I don't think that the national Black Lives Matter movement has been co-opted, and that's a negative connotation. I don't think it has been contaminated in Portland and in Seattle where they have gone nonstop. What I do believe is that, there's no other way. I am glad to see that these people are out as they are nonstop without the cameras, without the national spotlight being hit on them. And Portland only has a 7% of African Americans in that city. So if you want protests, you need to have the other demographics out there. And most of the city, it's not just majority white, it's overwhelmingly white in Portland, but it's more of a progressive, liberal state, left-wing state. City. So I'm glad to see that they're out. I don't think it's being compromised nationally. Now in that city, it might be taking on a different form than say the rest of the country. But that's only because there's only 7% Black people in Portland.
Hey man, walk with me. I'm with King James. You want to walk with me, march with me?
Yeah,
let's go.
And they taking punishment. Like I said, the Vietnam vets have formed a wall to protect the peaceful protests. And what happened? A Vietnam vet, a guy in the 70s, got pepper sprayed from 2 inches in front of his face by a police officer for just standing there. So they taking some punishment and some heat. So shout out to the vets and shout out to the people of Portland.
They get snatched up off the streets without Miranda.
So, the moms are out there protecting the kids. So yeah, it's definitely a lot going on in Portland.
Yeah, so shout out to Portland and shout out to Seattle. We see you out there, Seattle.
Definitely. So we have our next guest that's coming on right now.
Who, Amir? Who is it?
Hi there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I love that smile this Monday. That's what I'm talking about. Come through for me. I don't know about everybody else. Come through for me.
And I'm loving the background. What is that? What, all the photos of your family, friends? I love that.
No. This is my wall of fierce Black women from around the world.
Yes.
Oh, say that.
That's an all story.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. Who are some of the people? Because I can't see. You know what I'm saying? I got my bifocals, but I can't see behind you.
Sure. Well, I've got Michelle Obama. I've got Lupita Nyong'o, Rihanna. Yours truly. International models like Adut. Some of everybody is on this wall. Stacey Abrams, and it's about holding up the mirror on Black womanhood.
That's what's up. I love that background. Love it.
Me too. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Well, we are so excited to have you. Please just, we've spoken with you previously, but please just introduce yourself to everybody on the Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call.
Well, good morning, family. I am yours truly, Mickey Taylor, author, speaker, editor-at-large, Essence Magazine, and just a trusted authority for Black women around the world. Proud to say that I get up every day to go to work on our behalf.
Absolutely.
Ms. Johnson, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ifetayo Johnson, Ife for short. I'm an executive director with the Oral Health Progress and Equity Network, but today I have on my Black Women's Health Imperative hat, where I have served as a master trainer.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So, tell us a little bit about the work, the Black Women Health Imperative that you all are doing.
Well, I'm working with a group, one of their initiatives called Change Your Lifestyle, Change Your Life, which is a lifestyle change program. It focuses primarily around the idea of diabetes prevention. However, it also looks at other chronic diseases, especially for women of color. We've been, for the last, since 2012, I guess it's been, working with folks all across the country to help reduce the prevalence of diabetes among women of color. And we've been trying to reach people in what we call the pre-diabetes phase, so that when we are able to reach them at that point, we can keep them from moving across that line into diabetes. And as a result, we're saving lives. We're changing how people think, how people eat, their nutritional habits, their activity habits. And it's not only changing it for those individual women, but for their families and friends. And we're making a big difference in our community.
That's awesome. That's very, very important to know your status and keep up to date with your health. So we definitely appreciate that work that you're doing. Amir?
Yeah, so Mickey, can you give us more insight on the importance of this? We see that, even with these times, so many people are falling into bad habits, and habits can really can destroy our health. Can you talk about how, what you guys are doing can help during this moment where individuals might not be paying close attention to their health as they should be?
Well, tonight's conversation with Ife and several other women who are demonstrating what it means to own your life and your health and well-being is part of a week-long initiative on the part of the Black Women's Health Imperative that's really aimed at changing the health outcomes of Black women. So we're going to talk tonight about self-care, which is really not an option. It is essential, and particularly during these times, if COVID has taught us anything, that this is the time to boldly define what's important to you. And so your health and well-being is at the top of that. No matter what you stand for, no matter what your purpose in life is, if you're not healthy and well, you cannot influence the lives of others. You cannot give out of your lack. So we're going to talk about those things. We have an amazing panel. Sister Ife is on that panel. We have Ernestine Shepherd, who is 84 years old and holds the Guinness World Record as the oldest female bodybuilder. Talk about owning your life, in charge of your health. We have celebrity trainers, women who are busy wives, mothers, moms, pillars in the community who are entrepreneurs, but they understand that you cannot give out of your lack. In order to serve, you have to be mentally, spiritually, and physically fit. So we're going to talk about what that looks like in these times, because we may have nothing to do with what's going on around us, but we have everything to do with what's going on inside of us and our lives.
Yeah, but the beauty is this is a celebration. It's 38 years of a movement from the Black Women's Health Imperative, and it started at Spelman College. For all those women, just the moving kind of conversations that you're having are transformative. So this isn't new to you guys. This is definitely part of the celebration for all women to reset all week long with you. I think it's beautiful, but that women need to reset right now. And there's even the fear of not resetting, given that many men and women are actually confused at this moment because we've never been in this place, which is a reason to tune in. What more can they hear? Because self-care needs to be the entire Black movement.
Exactly. What we need to understand is that this is not a moment. It is a movement. We are talking about making a seismic shift in your life and what that looks like in your day to day, not something just to do, not something to lose weight. There's no, this shouldn't have an expiration date on it. And so we're looking at lifelong practices.
One of the things that really has been bubbling up because of COVID is how susceptible we are as a people because of our health status. And we have a tendency to have more diabetes, to have more hypertension, to be more overweight. All of those things impact how well we survive during this time period. Being mindful of your health and changing your lifestyle at this point is essential to all of us. And if we don't start doing more of that, there'll be a lot fewer of us to move this, move us forward. And we have to be mindful of what's happening, especially with our young people. And how do we help protect them by setting the example of changing our life?
And the good thing about that is that we get to change the conversation. You know, we get to change the stats. We get to change the stats at the table. We get to change the stats in terms of how we live our lives and how we see ourselves. So it's not something that is necessarily a given. We get to change it.
You know, for me, I've been challenging most people, and thank you both for coming on today because it's important that we have a discussion, but KPIs are important, key performance indicators. You have to know, are you really in a self-care mode? What would you think of 3 things that are part of a self-care mode, just in case somebody's restarting their life? What would you suggest? Because for me, if I can't measure my success, I may not start a success. So what are the 3 keys that you think so that somebody hearing your voice, Mimi, and obviously for me, that's important because I want people not to be so huge. Just start with 3 steps in self-care.
I think some of the things that are essential is what we're eating. And what's eating us. Stress is a major factor for women of color. And if we don't get our cortisol levels a little bit lower, that enzyme that is eating at our heart and our body, it tends to make us more susceptible. If we are not getting the sleep we need, I think is a major factor.
Ms. Johnson, I'm so in love with your hair. I really want to say I appreciate it, but you're talking intellectually. I want you to understand how basic your brother needs you.
Okay.
I need you to say, you need 8 hours. Because, our community is one of them. Well, she said I needed some sleep. I get 6.
Yeah.
It's not, they need some numbers because if you tell them, well, just get some sleep. Well, I slept 5 hours and I worried about how I'm going to pay my bills for the other 19 hours of the day. I mean, we need some numbers. I'm not certain that people are really getting, you need to sleep to heal.
Yes.
You need 8 hours. You need to leave your mama alone. You need to make her some tea at night before she goes to sleep. You need to rub her feet.
Yes,
you need to heat up her robe and her towel before she goes to bed. You need to heat up her towel. These are things children should be suggested. Heat your mother's towel up. Go to her, make her a cup of tea before she goes to rest. Let her sleep before you go to sleep if you're a grown child living in your mom's. Make sure that 2 hours before she goes to sleep, you're doing everything that you can before she goes to sleep. I mean, we must begin to give measurement. And Ms. Johnson, I just wanted to.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I need insight because I'm sure our community needs numbers.
Okay.
So they can measure. You can't heal and reduce your blood pressure if you're not sleeping.
No, you absolutely can't. And the other thing we need to do is move. We are way too sedentary. Sitting is the new smoking. It's one of the major forms of causes of premature death in the Black community. We need to be going out and find something you love to do. I like riding my bike. You know, if it's walking, if it's swimming, if it's playing racquetball, dancing, whatever it is, find something you enjoy doing because you'll keep doing it. And do that for at least 10 minutes at a time, for at least 30 minutes during the week. You want to, a day, you want to try and get 150 minutes of sustained activity in. So in at least 10-minute segments. So getting it up to, doing it for 10 minutes means you're getting your heart rate up. And getting your heart rate up means you're exercising that muscle. It means you're getting that air in, you're flushing out some of those toxins and those impurities out of your system. You're sweating a little bit. We need to not be scared of messing up our hair. Sweat a little bit, you know, get a little stanky, as the folks would say, you know.
Thank you, Cassidy. Thank you.
Stanky.
Self-care, 3. I need 3 so that we know indicators with measurements.
So, you know, I think it all comes down to knowing your value. You know, self-perception colors your entire existence. So it's really how important you think these things are. Your sleep, your well-being. You don't want prescriptions on your nightstand. And if you can change that by moving, if you can change that by what you eat at the table, if you can change that by counting sleep important. Look, we all know Psalm 23 that says he maketh me to lie down, but we resist. So we got to stop resisting. We got to stop taking negative stuff to bed with us. Our bills, taking the cell phone in the bedroom, keeping the TV on, all the people talking to us all night. That disturbs that deep sleep that was divinely assigned for us. So again, it's how we see ourselves. We got to learn to lovingly say no. You know, we say yes to everything. We write more yes checks than we can cash. We got to learn how to lovingly say no, because part of that is the stress that's eating us up. And we want to be the people who process stress instead of allowing it to process us.
Wow, that's powerful. We cash more yes checks. Can you repeat that? I want to make sure we get that right.
We write more yes checks than we can cash.
Oh, what? Quote of the day.
You know, I appreciate both of you, and we're going to bring you back again so that you can practice this. Mimi, I need you to say you need 8 hours of sleep. I need our community to be able to have key, I think, turn your television off 2 hours before you go to sleep.
Well, let me also make one other suggestion, is we do better when we're in groups. That's the reason why we have the Change Your Lifestyle, Change Your Life program. If you come in, you have people who can work with you, who can see you through this. We can't do this alone. We have a tendency to be way too independent. We need each other. We need to be in groups where we can support each other, we can encourage each other, and we can get the instruction we need to help us get through this. But we can make this together. So if you find a Change Your Lifestyle program in your area, please join up.
Let's join the Black Women's Health Imperative. Let's join that one. I want them to join. I don't want them to be random. You guys got a hot app coming out. You are in the business already. The one thing that I want to say to our community, don't start your own. We already got something started. Support the existing. This is a free form. If you go to anniversary, that's your key. Anniversary,
Black Women's Health Imperative.
Right. So if you go to Black Women's Health Imperative /anniversary, you can view everything for free. This is a gift to the community to heal. This is a movement toward, you are the best that the CD has recognized at actually getting our community to change, individuals actually lose weight, be able to address their diabetes and many of the health disparities. This is the movement that people are actually involved in. I'm just pushing Mimi on. You got that self-care. People have no idea what checks you mean when you say yes. Stress is the thing that you have to say no in order to self-care. The other thing is accountability partners and accountability organizations. The Black Women's Health Imperative is a woman's organization who gives you an accountability system. So that's the beauty. And I love your hair, Miss Johnson. I want you to know that we want you to take 10,000 steps every day.
10,000.
There are at least 3 to 4 free apps on your phone until this Black Health, Women's Health Imperative launches their app, but they're free apps. And you have to have accountability partners that you share your steps, how much sleep, and then show your food, what you had to eat. Reduce your sugar. Go through the process of eliminating buying snacks. If you don't bring them in the house, you can't eat them.
And the name of the program, though, that Black Women's Health Imperative runs for that is called Change Your Lifestyle, Change Your Life. There are programs all over the country. Please find one, join one. They're starting them up virtually. There'll be a lot of ways that you can get involved. And it changes your life. I lost 20 pounds. It really makes a difference. It takes you from being having prediabetes to not having prediabetes. It means that I will be around to play with grandchildren. It means that my hair can get grayer. Those are the things that are important in life. We need to start thinking about what we're eating, what's eating us, how much we're moving, what we're saying yes to, what we stress out over, what we, how we support each other. Those are the things that we need to be doing as Black women. And the Change Your Lifestyle, Change Your Life program is not only for Black women. You can come in as men. We've had several men in our class, and we need to save y'all. Y'all are endangered species, and we can't afford to lose a single one of you. So please, if you have the opportunity, look up Change Your Lifestyle, Change Your Life under Black Women's Health Imperative.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Well, thank you all so much. Oh, go ahead, Amir.
No, go ahead, Cass.
I was gonna say, thank you all so much for joining us, and definitely want to highlight one more time where they can go and join in with the Black Women's Health Imperative. Highlight that website.
BWHI.org is the Black Women's Health Imperative website. You'll find a lot of different initiatives that they have up there. This is just one of them. We invite you not only to participate, but to contribute. And we have, as Black women, an awful lot to share. Look for ways that you can also donate your time, your efforts, your thoughts to this. Right now, especially now, we need each other. We need to be about the business of healing and growing. And this is an opportunity for us to show who we are and what we can be and whose we are and how we can make life better for all of us and to keep rolling out what we're doing.
Yeah. And just remember, your greatness was not designed to operate in isolation. So get in the group, get involved, really have accountability partners, have those that support you and that you support in turn.
Yeah. And this is also one, just so that you'll know, this has been something that the CDC has been working to validate for quite a while. They found in Black Women's Health Imperative one of the best programs in the nation, and actually the only one that really was making a difference for Black women at that level. The other groups did an okay job, but we did it better. And so we specialize, we know what we need. This is the group to join. By all means, don't hesitate. If you're thinking about it, stop thinking about it. Go do it. This is about action steps at this point. This isn't about contemplation. This is about making that difference. Get busy. We don't have any time to waste.
Right.
That energy. I love that energy, man. Two beautiful Black queens. I love that energy.
I'm gonna get out on my bike when I finish this.
Yes.
All right, Mickey, getting on your bike?
Getting out there and going to work. In fact, I'm going to work on my kitchen garden because I really do believe in bringing healthy foods to the table. So when COVID started, I moved from idea to I did it. And now I've got a whole plant-based garden that I pull from every day at the table. It's been about 2 hours a day, that garden. So that's my first order of business. when I finished.
Yeah, we need
That's
to start eating more
amazing.
plants and less things that come from plants. From, less things that are canned in plants. We need to start eating fresh fruits and vegetables. Half your plate should be fresh fruits and vegetables on every meal. And the problem that we have is everything in our communities tend to be fast food. It's a lot of grease, a lot of salt, a lot of sugar. And trust me, the folks who make those things have done a lot of research to find out exactly how much they have to put in to make it so that you can't stop eating it.
Right.
So when the potato chip company says, I bet you can't eat just one, they know that you can. So those are those things that you need to stay away from. But there's so many other things that you can develop a taste for. There's so many other things that, and this is one of the main pushbacks we get from folks is that I don't want to eat rabbit food. I don't want to just have this this stuff that's not tasty and it's not good. And so we usually do like a taste test. We let folks come in who want to try out the class, and we do a taste test. Here's what everyone made in the class says: low in fat, low in salt, low in sugar, low in calories, and dadgum delicious. I don't believe in eating stuff I don't like. But we've come up with lots of ways to make food absolutely delicious. And most of the folks, we got so bodacious, we started doing it for Thanksgiving. And we substituted a bunch of the Thanksgiving feast. And you have to have Aunt Becky's, triple heart attack, macaroni and cheese and stuff, and and the heavy laden sweet potatoes that, ooze off your plate. And we started substituting things, and people didn't know the difference. In a lot of cases, they said they liked it better. So we don't have to substitute taste and enjoyment for health. And you can't enjoy anything once you're dead. So it's real important to figure out how to stay alive long enough to enjoy life.
But you have to train your tongue. You have to train your tongue. You got to train your appetite. You got to really train your mind. You got to really have a group of friends that are taking things out and replacing it. You've got to find a new relationship with food. It really takes a lot of that. And growing, and I know you were getting ready to say something, Mickey, so share it. And then if you would answer the question, 20 pounds, how you did it. Go ahead, Mickey.
So, one of the things I say about processed foods, we don't recognize half the ingredients that are listed on the label. Well, if you don't recognize them, your organs don't either. And why would you do that to yourself, right? And then the other thing you have to realize that most of the places, if you think about today's supermarkets, at least every 10 of the aisles have dead foods. And you want to eat life. You want to eat things that enrich your blood, that improve your immune system, that give you that vibrant glow that starts with your organs, not just what you put on your skin. So again, if you go back to the Garden of Eden, you got to think about it. There was no takeout. They weren't fixing the drive-through lane. If you go back to the motherland, we were the original naturopaths. And nobody was going out hunting every day of the week to put something fried on the table. So, when we know better, you have to do better. And you really do have to train your taste buds. Food is fuel. Your body is an incredible machine, but you can break it down by just what you have at the table. I remember in my first book, one of the experts said, we dig our graves with our teeth. And that really means that it's about what we eat at the table. So we got to change, and we have the power to do so. We have been equipped to do this. And if you wake up every day excited to be the truth of who you are at your best, you'll make the change.
Well, plus Ms. Johnson made a great point, because she gets on that bike every day. I actually bike and run, and it's weird. Your body, when you start getting more physical, your body really rejects a lot of foods. Like my body started rejecting like fast foods, and like it's you're right. You can train your tongue and train your body, because I think people are just used to, like you said, what's available. It's like McDonald's is right there, and so-and-so is right there. So it's kind of like until they actually know that they got access to it, is not going to change. But I think people need to do their research to know what they have access to in their neighborhoods.
And I think you also need to know that, well, we were always the enslaved folks who had to do things like create sugar, and that we have become enslaved now to sugar. Sugar is actually more addictive than cocaine. They literally, they did an experiment with mice where they gave them sugar and they gave them cocaine, and the mice would go for the sugar. Wow. It's more addictive than cocaine. And so what's happening is we're putting sugar in everything. And if you look at the back of any can, you'll see one of the ingredients is almost always salt and sugar. So we are getting trained to be addicted to that. And that's an addiction we need to also work on breaking. Sugary drinks are not necessary. I mean, when you look at how much sugar there is in a can of soda or pop, depending on where you are, you would say, I would never put that much sugar in anything I'm drinking if I would making a cup of tea or something like that. You wouldn't put 8 or 10 teaspoons of sugar in, but we do that with pops. We need to start thinking about what we're putting in our bodies. And when you wanted to know how I lost 20 pounds, it was by making it easy. If it had been hard, I probably wouldn't have done it. But the class, it changes your lifestyle, and making little changes in your lifestyle on a daily basis makes big changes over time. And so, just the fact that I needed to move more, the fact that I needed to take grease out. And when you think of grease, one of the best examples we had in class was we had people look up how much fat was in a filet of fish sandwich, because they thought filet of fish was healthy. And we looked up how much fat there was. We took a can of shortening, a lard, and we put that much fat onto a bun and said, this is what you're eating. And it was about a half a cup of fat. Now, when you look at it like that, it loses a lot of its allure. It doesn't look so tasty anymore. We found all kinds of ways. I fry wings for my husband because he loves chicken wings. And our compromise was that I would figure out a way to do it without using any grease whatsoever. It's just as crispy. He likes it just as much. It tastes just as good. He doesn't miss the grease at all. And it's healthier. So, there are a lot of ways that we can do this. We just have to learn to be more
how you did that.
Yeah.
It's everybody who's trying to figure out how to make chicken wings without grease.
Well, I tell you, it's a chemical reaction. You take baking powder, not baking soda. Baking soda will be awful. But you take a tablespoon of baking powder. I get about 12 wings, put them in a bowl, tablespoon of baking powder, and about, depending on your taste, quarter to half a teaspoon of salt. And you just rub it over the chicken wings. And it's not like you're going to get a coating on it. You just want it to touch the skin so it will cause the reaction. You put it in the oven. I have a New Wave, so it kind of has an air thing with it, but you can put it in the oven at about 225 for about 20 minutes or so and let it drip off. Then you crank it up to about 450 and let it crisp. And it comes out just as crunchy and crisp without a single drop of oil on it. If you can look up the recipe online if you look up baking powder chicken wings, you'll find it. But it's amazing. And he loves it that way. We cut out, a pound of grease and fat that we didn't need. And we're happy. We feel healthier. And nothing slows down your system like putting in a bunch of fat. You just get sluggish after you eat fat.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to the point now where something fried, I look at it and it just turns my stomach. I don't want fried food anymore.
Yeah, great thing about the conference. I mean, the conference started yesterday and it runs through August 1st, but if you come, you're going to come away with a wealth of information that will make this change in lifestyle easier than you thought possible, because it's full of simplistic information that's going to make a huge difference in your life.
Yeah. I had to really get to that idea of I need to sleep, because sleep also helps with your weight loss. And I hadn't realized that before. If you're not getting enough sleep, you have a tendency also to munch on things. You have a tendency to go for those things that will give you high energy, which are sugars and carbs and things that aren't good for you. I also discovered that if I'm eating the things that my body's craving, then I tend to eat less. If I'm getting fruits and vegetables, which is what my body's looking for, then it's not asking me for chips and cookies and stuff. And I don't need those, and I don't miss them as much. You substitute, you do frozen yogurts instead of ice cream, because I was an ice cream junkie. And and it tastes the same. There's so many things you learn to substitute. There's so many things you learn to try that you've never tried before. A lot of our problem is that we're creatures of habit. This is all we've ever been told to eat. So this is all we've ever tried. I had one young man in a class I taught who had a pear tree in his backyard and had never eaten a pear, didn't know what they tasted like. Wow. I had a parent who said that their child would never eat a salad. And we did a salad bar where they were able to put all kinds of things on it. So it wasn't just leaf, they could add in all kinds of things to make it more interesting and tastier. And after the third or fourth time the kid went back, she got embarrassed and said, he had to stop eating. But a lot of it is because we haven't been exposed to it. Right. If we've never had the experience of health, if we haven't had the experience of good eating, if we haven't had the experience of tasty foods, then we tend to stick with what we go to McDonald's again. And that's another way of folks making money off of our death.
Yeah. And we have to model something different before our children. Somewhere along the line, we have to change, what we've been gathering around the table and eating and considering it good, but tossing aside the fact that it might not be healthy. And it shouldn't be optional. I think that eating healthy should be non-negotiable for each of us, knowing what we know. Even if you look at the DNA, if you look at the health truths in your family. If I look back at my family, there's a history of heart disease. There's a history of hypertension. I don't take high blood pressure pills because I don't have high blood pressure. So somewhere along the line, we have to realize that it's not a given that we're going to have all these pills on our nightstand, that we're going to have these medicines to help us live. No, that we can change that and thrive without them.
Well, that is beautiful. This entire conference is set up for those who are part of a movement and those who are looking for a movement. So I want to thank the Black Women's Health Initiative Imperative. This is what's happening. These dynamic women are all here, plus Mimi and Miss Johnson. Go today to the Black Women's Health Imperative and join these women as they celebrate 38 years of being a part of the movement of moving women forward and making a difference in the lives of the entire community. We want to thank you for coming on Rolling Out AM. This movement is exciting. You can see there's something every single day that will change your life, inspire you to understand the issues that many of us or family members are dealing with each and every day. The Black Women's Health Imperative is making a difference for every single group. So join today and check out all that is there. So just want to thank you. Go ahead, Romeo.
No. I saw one of your guests, Miss Millette. I love her, man. She has a brand new show coming out, man. I'm joining. I'm in. Let's go.
Let's
Glad
go.
to have you.
Well, no, we just want to thank you for coming on Rolling Out the Wake Up Call, Rolling Out AM. Congratulations to 38 years of a super movement by the Black Women's Health Imperative. We just want to say thank you so much and congratulations on 20 pounds. Continued success. I get it. We're gonna make it. You say it's. I know you don't ride your bike for 10 minutes, but I'm gonna tease you about that.
Oh no, I do about 6 miles or so at a time.
See,
Oh,
know the numbers, Romeo.
Oh,
hey, I'm 66 and I'm still.
Get it. Whose report is
With
next?
that.
Ladies, hold tight. You can hold tight. Stay on. Whose report is next?
I think it's AR. I feel bad. I only did 2 miles last night. I need to up my game.
Ladies.
We'll get there.
AR.
Let's get it. What we got? What we going to first? AR's report. What slide is ready? Once the slide is ready, we can get into it. We can get into the conversation. We can get into the discussion. Let's go. We ready. Ready for the producers at any moment.
Rollingout.com.
Any moment.
Rollingout.com.
If you're watching shit.
Women's health imperative. All right, whatever it is.
Today,
at
this moment. If you're watching the show, definitely share the show right now. Definitely share if you're on Facebook. And again, if you're watching, go to. I want to make sure this website is right. It's at anniversary.bwhi.org. Is that the website? I want to make sure that's the website.
Yes.
Is that the website?
Yes.
bwhi.org.
you know what? And as we're waiting, I'm finna set a new Rolling Out Fit Club challenge. If you a bike rider, I need you to do 6 miles a day. That's what I need you to do. Take a photo.
6 miles.
#
Rolling Out Fit Club and send it to me, and so I can repost it.
Now let me make the suggestion. Let me make the suggestion that if you haven't been doing this, don't try and do it all at once. You'll be sore the next day.
Yes.
But do it because you enjoy it. Do it. I ride that much because I like it. I ride that much because I get great joy out of being outside. And I tell you right now, especially because these are the things that our kids tend to exercise most. They have very strong thumbs. It's so important that we get out of the house, even during COVID. Wear your mask, get out, do your walking, spend time together, be healthy. Don't let quarantine keep you from being healthy. This is a great opportunity for us to say, well, I've got time, I can exercise or in the house, but we don't even think of it as exercise. Think of it as activity. Think of it as something you enjoy. Dance.
Right.
Swim. Right. Go out in the backyard, jump rope, play ball with your kids, go play some basketball, whatever works for you. Have some fun.
Right. Got Emmett Till. Happening with Emmett Till.
Oh, let's go. We got so we want to give a happy birthday to Emmett Till. Of course, if he was alive, he would have turned 79 on Saturday. And we want to really bring attention to Carolyn Donham, who is the white woman who actually lied on Emmett Till and said that he whistled at her when he was a young guy, 14. Of course, Emmett Till was taken from his house. He was abducted. He was mutilated, and he was killed by several racists because of a lie. This woman, Carolyn Donham, is still alive. She's 86 years old, and there's no statute of limitation on murder. And we want to push to ensure that she is charged with the murder of Emmett Till. And so we want to move on to the next thing. Lou Williams of the Los Angeles Clippers. He left the bubble, the NBA bubble, over the past last week. And, he said that he went to get some chicken wings at Magic City. And of course, that was one of the wrong. He was chilling with Jack Harlow, who was a rapper. Jack Harlow posted a photo on Instagram of them together, and Lou Williams got in trouble. Of course, the NBA said that he would have to quarantine for 10 days once he goes back to the bubble. So yeah, Lou Williams, who has his own chicken wing at Magic City, he said he went to get him some dinner at Magic City, and he got him in trouble. So yeah, Romeo knows all about that. We're gonna move to the next slide. Usher versus Chris Brown. That's what everybody's saying. Yesterday it was trending. The top trending topic was Chris Brown and Usher. people have wanted them to go into a versus battle. And I think it'll be interesting. I think they represent two different generations, but you know, I think it'll be a real interesting battle between Usher and Chris Brown. But that's what everybody was saying. I think it was a discussion yesterday. Everybody was going back and forth saying that Usher would take it. Some people were saying that Chris Brown would take it. But I think it'll be a good battle. What do you guys think?
Look at Cassidy.
Battle. I think it would not really be so much of a battle, in my opinion, because I love them both so much and they both have a lot of great hits. But I think it'll be one of those moments where you just enjoy the music and vibe out.
Okay.
Chris, Usher all the way. Period.
Usher.
Yeah, I'm crediting Chris.
Hey, Ms. Johnson, Usher, Chris Brown.
Catalog.
I kind of like Usher.
There we go. There we go.
Ms. Johnson,
Mickey?
I'm an Usher fan.
That's my partner.
Yeah, I think you're gonna lose this one, Cass. It's all good, though.
No, we need a dance off, Cass. They should dance it off. Which one?
Both have a good catalog. I'm not saying, you know, I love Usher. I think he has some hits. I don't really think he can go up against anybody else, though.
Miss Taylor, you see how you got all those pictures behind you? Cassidy got Chris Brown just like that on her wall behind you. That's
oh my gosh.
I definitely think it'll be a great battle. I think, but I'm gonna give the edge to Usher only because Usher has what we call a magnum opus in Confessions. Confessions sold 10 million records worldwide. I think Chris Brown's most popular album is Fame, which did well, which is a great album. But when you put up, I guess, their best work side by side, I think Usher will kind of tilt the scale. But then it could be just a generational thing.
No, I think that the battle would last about maybe 5 or 6 rounds, but in the later rounds, Chris Brown would get trounced because his library, his catalog has just pales in comparison to Usher's. And that's no disrespect to Chris, because Chris is ultra talented. He is the one who, when he moves, he most resembles Michael Jackson. But musicianship, no, that's Usher all day, by far.
Well, let's start us off. Positive thoughts of the day. King James.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and pick it back off of Romeo from earlier when he was talking about the people in Portland. Hey, walk with me. If those people have been protesting nonstop since Memorial Day, 59 straight days, even though the media has long left them. So shout out to them. If you want to walk with me in this fight for justice in America, I'm standing behind you. Shout out to Portland and Seattle. And I will pass the ball on to Romeo International.
There's a lot of things going on in this nation right now, people. But the one thing going on is hating. Hey, man, look, nobody needs to be hating on nobody. It is too much going on in the world to hate on another race, creed, color, whatever decision, sexuality. Love everybody just like you love yourself, just like how I love Miss Johnson, who I'm passing it to.
Well, one of the things that I like to do in my job is to look for what we call the silver linings. And in the midst of all of the pandemic of both COVID, systemic racism, health disparities, we've had an opportunity to see what we can do and how we can make a difference, and to take up the charge to move forward. That we have to pick up where John Lewis and C.T. Vivian left off. And we have to provide the shoulders. We stood on their shoulders. I have to provide shoulders for someone else to stand on so that they can have shoulders for the next generation. And I'm really pleased and proud to know that we have such great shoulders, especially from folks like you.
Amen. Amen.
So much.
And I'm going to pass that to Cass.
Oh, Cass.
My positive thought of the day is just it's never too late to follow your dreams. Now is a better time than ever to, jump out there and do what it is you're passionate about. I am going to pass it to Miss Nikki Taylor.
Well, I'm going to say the truth is there can be no happiness in life if the things we do are different from the things we believe in. And the truth is we cannot provoke much needed change in the world if we're not at first a force in our own lives. So we want to take joy in taking charge of our lives and taking charge of our health and being the change that we have been equipped to be. And having said that, I'm going to pass it on to Brother Steve.
Hey, I want to thank you for all that you do. I'm going to pass it before I do mine to Amir Shah and see what he has to say as he takes us out and then close us out.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of go off of Ms. Taylor and Johnson, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote a book, Eat to Live, and that's what we got to do. You got to eat to live. You got to work out. You got to make sure that you're staying focused when it comes to your health, and make sure that you're not digging your grave with your fork. So that's important. Let's go, Mr. Steve.
All right, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, rolling out AM, the wake up call. I want to challenge everyone who's out there to join in celebration the anniversary of the Black Women's Health Imperative. If nothing else, take steps to make a difference in your life today. Take one step, and then you'll notice that your other foot will follow, and so will your friends and family. So let's all take positive steps to change who and what we support. Today and this entire week, rolling out and supporting the Black Women's Health Imperative as they celebrate 38 years of thinking and making women the number one, Black women, the number one priority in our lives. We all have had mothers, and we all celebrate the difference that they are making. They are women, they are queens. We celebrate you. Congratulations, 38 years. We celebrate the Black Women's Health Imperative. Thanks for everybody tuning in to Rolling Out the Wake Up Call. We love you. Thanks, Ms. Johnson. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you, First King James. Thank you, Romeo International, Cass in the City, and A.R. Shaw. We are the Wake Up Call, Rolling Out AM. Peace. We'll see you. Thanks so much, everybody.